Hey folks, Chris Waters here at GDC 2013. I'm joined by John Vignacchi of Disney. It's here to talk Disney Infinity. John, we've got characters, we got a panel, and we've got games to show. So let's start off with the hardware.
Yeah, easiest thing to do to understand, wrap your mind around Infinity. Let's talk what's in the starter pack.
All right.
So starter pack will be available August 18th in North America, August 20th worldwide. Starter pack will be sold for $74.99. It's going to come with these three, these three figures. So we've got Captain Jack Sparrow, we have Sully, and we have Mr. Incredible. Those will come in the pack, as well as what we call the Infinity Base. This is a near-field communicator, and by placing the characters on the base, then the characters will appear inside the game. So those will come, the Infinity Base. We'll also have what we call a landmark piece. So this landmark piece, or this playset piece, when you place it on the hexagonal section of the reader, will give you access to the world of the Incredibles, the world of Pirates of the Caribbean, or the world of Monsters University. Each of those playsets, those worlds, are about 6 to 7 hour games in and of themselves. Totally original stories. Play with those characters inside of those worlds.
Play with these characters, of course, and more within their individual worlds.
Absolutely. As you can see in the case below me, there's a lot more characters that you can collect and add to the Infinity platform.
All right.
And last but not least is the power discs. So we will have one power disc that's going to come packaged in at random with each starter pack.
Okay.
The one that I pulled out right here is a power disc that's actually from the Muppets. It's Animals Electric Mayhem Bus.
Yes.
So you can actually place that in your toy box, and any of the different Disney characters can jump in and drive it around. So that's a look at what comes in the starter pack. Last and certainly not least, though, is the software. I don't have a game box with me, but if you can imagine the beautiful box with art created by a great marketing team.
Dazzling.
Right? You open it up and it smells so good. Anyway, that's what comes inside of the starter pack.
All right. Well, let's put this on here and get into one of these worlds here.
Absolutely. What would you like to see first, Chris?
Let's go Pirates.
Pirates of the Caribbean, it is. All right, Chris. So here we are inside the Pirates of the Caribbean playset. This particular playset is actually set during the time frame of the first 3 films.
Okay.
It's a brand new original story, though, and that's one thing that's important to know about all the Infinity playsets is their original story.
No retreads, no reliving the movie action.
Yeah. Well, so back in the day, I mean, like that was okay for games, right?
Yeah.
Go see the movie, play the video game. But kids and gamers, they actually want to go and experience brand new content, new and original stories.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of this particular playset, Davy Jones is actually attacking Tortuga. Captain Jack Sparrow, again, has found himself in a sticky situation. We actually recreated elements of the ride here right in the beginning.
Oh yeah, that archway right here. This is, I mean, I just went on this ride actually like 2 weeks ago, and so this is totally like that look. All we need now is like just some drunken animatronic dudes going on the side.
Yeah, chasing rides around, right?
Yep.
So this particular rowboat actually comes equipped with a cannon. Then we have, just from a presentation perspective, we were thinking, what if the Imagineers could go through and make this thing as crazy as possible? So lots of explosions happening.
Yeah.
Mike just turned the camera down there. You can actually see different coral and stuff inside the water. So we really are trying to deliver a AAA quality title with great presentation, even though it is primarily a kids game. So we think that there's a lot really going on in here.
All right, so Captain Jack here throwing his way into the middle of conflict, and so like some sword play is probably not far behind.
Not far behind at all. So one thing about all the Infinity playsets is that they all bring different game mechanics to the platform. Pirates of the Caribbean, all about swordplay. It's all about flintlock pistols, and most importantly, over 50% of the playset, you're actually going to be sailing in your own ship, which you can create, customize, have cannon battles, and go and explore the Caribbean.
No kidding.
Yeah, so actually in the Caribbean, there's a total of over 10 different islands that you can. I don't want to give the total number. There's over 10 islands that you can explore in the Caribbean, from Dead Man's Cove to Tia Dalma's private island. So you can go on your ship and go and explore those different areas.
All these different spots and find treasure and stuff for your toy box and go on sort of quests and missions and such.
Yeah, absolutely. So right here in the beginning, speaking of missions, we've got Pintel and Rigetti. They're actually leading us to Gibbs, who has been trapped inside of a tower. We've got to free Gibbs, and then we can go and hit the seas. But, of course, as all things Pirates of the Caribbean, they double-cross us a little bit here. So they've double-crossed us, and now we actually have some enemies these come out. So we're going to show you some of our sword play as well as some of our flintlock pistol combat. So Jack can do 3-hit combos with his sword. In terms of how that system works, tap, tap, tap is different from tap, tap, hold. There's lots of different combos of different characters.
But all on the same button, so real easy for a younger player.
Very accessible.
To get the hang of.
Very accessible, but for the player that really understands how deep it can go, you can actually do some pretty powerful combos to take out enemies pretty quickly.
Very cool.
So that's a quick look at this particular section of the Pirates of the Caribbean playset.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do, though, is show you a little bit of our ocean battle system here now.
That sounds great. Let's check it out.
All right, awesome. All right, Chris, so now we're still inside the Pirates of the Caribbean playset, but we wanted to show a little bit of actually our sailing.
You're out on the open seas.
On the open sea, so real wave physics.
Getting a little seasick. If you're actually tilting around here, this isn't just a boat cruising around in the placid Caribbean.
No, there's real wave physics inside of here. We're going to have various enemy ships that are be coming and trying to pirate your ship. You're going to be able to fire cannons, and of course you see the different islands there in the background that you can go and explore. So lots of variety in here. Over 10 different islands. Some are very combat heavy. Some are about puzzle solving. Some are more kind of dungeon style we're going through. So lots and lots of different stuff that you can do inside of this particular playset. Now, one thing that's fun is with this playset and all of Infinity, it's also multiplayer. So you and 3 of your friends, if you're connected online, can actually be having your friends manning the cannons or working the sails or even taking the helm. So it's a ton of fun because you all collaboratively can go on quests together.
Because who doesn't want to swap the deck in a multiplayer game? You said online. Is this also local? I can take my character here and just plunk them down?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that the Infinity base is designed is so that it has 2 specific areas. So at any time, you can put down another figure and then it'll actually go split screen.
Nice.
And the reason why we have it go split screen is so that one player can go off in one direction to complete missions, the other one can jump into a sailboat and go sail to a different area.
Oh, no kidding. You can be in entirely different areas.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Neat.
So it's really fun. And then last but not least, there's a couple other characters that we have. So we've got Davy Jones and Barbossa, which are both playable characters inside the playset as well. So that's a quick look at Pirates.
That's a lot of Pirates. Can we take a quick look at one of the other ones before we wrap up here?
What would you like to see? We've got The Incredibles. We can show you Cars.
I think we need to go Cars, or else my nephew will never forgive me.
Cars it is. Let's go.
All right.
Okay, Chris, so just to start real quick to set it up, Cars is actually one of our playset expansion packs that's going to be available at launch.
All right.
So you're actually going to pick this up. It's going to be $34.99, and it's going to come with Lightning McQueen, it's going to come with Holly, and then it's going to come with the landmark piece that represents the Cars playset. So when you take this landmark piece and place it in the hex section, you're going to get access to that Cars playset. Now the Cars playset, just like all the other Infinity playsets, is about a 6 to 7 hour experience in an open world environment. So enough talk about this. There's 2 more characters that are also available, Mater and Francesco.
Okay.
So you're going to be able to pick those up if these are your favorite characters.
How much is a single character or a character pack going to run you?
So a single character is $12.99. We have 3 character packs that we're looking at selling for $29.99.
Okay.
And so what's cool is that not only you get the character and access to the character inside of the playset, but you also get adventures, custom adventures inside the toy box mode that each of these characters can go on. So there's actually a lot of value there, and they're pretty high quality in terms of collectibles.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Mater that I have actually stepped on a few times when visiting my family, and
I mean,
it looks sharp as ever.
Well, it's fun because, even things like his tow hook on the back here is there, and even the individual, rigid lines of it. I mean, we've worked very, very hard to make these really above and beyond, what's coming out there from other competitive products.
All right, so we've seen him here. Let's see him in the game.
Absolutely, let's go. All right, so here we go. We're in the Cars playset
Lightning
right now.
McQueen!
Yeah, absolutely, right?
Oh, man.
Francesco, my favorite, because he's Italian. But inside of the Cars playset, original story here as well. The cast of characters from Cars 1 and 2 are all coming to Radiator Springs to get ready for a Grand Prix. So it's up to Lightning Mater and the gang to help get ready. Ramon does make an appearance. He's kind of the bad guy in this playset. It's really, really funny. Lots of humor in here. But most importantly, from a gameplay perspective, this is actually adding new mechanics to the Infinity platform. It's adding driving, battle racing.
Okay.
So we're going to show you that here in a minute as you start exploring the open world of Radiator Springs.
So kind of like the Pirates of the Caribbean Open Sea, you've got an open world to drive around here as well. It's sort of you explore, you find missions, but just by driving around.
Yeah, absolutely.
The way that Lightning would.
By exploring, right. So you can do a variety of different missions. In fact, there's over 80 different missions inside this particular playset. Yeah, you can.
Or you can just do backflips and donuts all day long.
Speaking of donuts, actually, we do have a full drifting mechanic that's built into the game as well. So actually, as you're driving around, if you hit the left trigger, your car will actually drift around. And later on, as you level up your character, he actually unlocks the ability to have turbos. And so that's one of the things that's special about the car's characters. They obviously can turbo around. So another thing that's kind of fun that you can do inside this playset is customize all the buildings. So as you're making progress through each of the playsets, cars included, you're completing quests and defeating bad guys, and you're unlocking all these different virtual toys. So the buildings, in this case, are some of the virtual toys that you can add to your toy box.
Okay, a little civic development. Or, you know, just like buying another toy set and setting up your elaborate action figure in your living room, only you're doing it here.
Exactly, exactly. So we'll show you now. Mike's going to drive over here to Flo's Cafe. And so one of the things that you can do is you can customize any of these different objects here. So you can do things like you can change the material or the texture on each of the buildings if you want to, you know, from your accents to even some of the decorations that you have. So there's lots of customization you can do to each of these to really make it feel like your own.
No kidding.
And then the other thing that's fun, very much inspired by our toys growing up, they actually have buttons on them. So these buildings have these big buttons on them that you can actually press, and it'll transform the functionality of that particular toy. So now with Flo's, that actually opens up the rooftop to turn into a stunt area.
Wow.
So kind of like Castle Grayskull.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah. You have those toys that you'd have like 2 different states you could be in, and then like, oh man.
Wow, you really missed that jump.
That's pretty bad.
All of GameSpot is laughing at you right now.
You know, it wouldn't be a good developer demo without the demo or making a little bonehead number. People like that kind of stuff. That's character.
And as you see, too, all of these buildings also have destruction as well. So
that's right. That was a surprise to me when I was speeding around earlier in The Incredibles and just ran smack into the storefront and it starts cracking and glasses going everywhere.
Right.
I can see people spending a lot of time just wrecking havoc that way.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely destruction play pattern for boys. So for guys too.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a lot of fun. But we're going to show you here in a second. We're going to jump to some actual racing so that your viewers can see what that's all about and how that plays inside of the world of cars.
Sounds good.
Cool. All right, sweet. So now we're actually going to go in and do one of the battle races. This is actually a side mission, but there are mainline missions going to have you racing against the different cars characters. So now we are in development. We are right in the middle of bug hunting and bug fixing, getting ready for submission to first party. So you are going to see some frame rate glitches. Bear with us. You guys know we will fix that. If something looks broken, we know it's broken.
Yeah, we can see it too.
Yeah.
And you just blew Mater right off the course.
Yeah, so one of the fun things is that as you're actually racing, you have pickups, and then when you run over those particular pickups, you can get various chrome spy gadgets to outfit your car with. So we've got missiles, we have pop-cap machine guns that actually will go up on the side of your car there, and you can, of course, use the different areas in the environment to stunt and trick off of, and even find some hidden spots.
And so is this kind of kart racing action, is this something you can compete online with as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So inside the Cars playset, just like Pirates, we've got a 4-player multiplayer. So depending on the type of race or battle that's going on, you're either playing cooperatively, where you're doing the race together, or you're playing competitively, where you're going to be fighting against each other.
Now, what's this X to tow prompt that keeps popping up whenever you get near another car?
So one of the cool things with cars is that, our biped characters, like Mr. Incredible and Jack Sparrow, they can lift up characters and throw them, but we wanted to have something cool like that for all the Cars characters. So the geniuses at Avalanche came up with this idea that all the different controllable Cars avatars could actually have a tow hook.
Okay.
And so what happens is you can actually use that tow hook to tow additional cars or players behind you. And so what's fun is that you can actually tow up to 4 different cars behind you, and you can then throw them as well. So you should see it here in a second, but it's actually a lot of fun. So that's a quick look at actually our racing and our battle racing. Do you have any other questions on this?
Cool. No, I think this has been a great look at cars. I'd like to get another look at the toy box, which is something you've mentioned a few times in the demo thus far, but it seems to be this really creative endeavor that I think folks will really want to take a look at before we wrap up.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the toy box. All right, Chris, Toy box time.
John, is this what a toy box looks like in Disney Infinity? Because I'm seeing like the Magic Castle, like Scrooge McDuck's vault, Epcot Center, all of this stuff in one giant landscape.
Absolutely, and you hit the nail on the head. This is Toy Box, and it is whatever you want it to be. So there's over 1,000 different virtual toys that are included inside of Disney Infinity. Playing through play sets, you're going to unlock virtual toys. Leveling your character, you're going to unlock virtual toys. And of course, it's all things Disney. So whether that is Scrooge McDuck's Money Bin, or we even have a version of the Matterhorn that we created that you can ride, and buildings from Wreck-It Ralph. Anything Disney can happen inside of the Toy Box.
Wow, so there's, and over 1,000 did you say? I mean, that's just like a recipe for I gotta unlock the next thing. I gotta, try level up character, get more.
Yeah, it's really cool. In fact, one of the things that we love to show is how you can actually take virtual toys and even powers from different characters and give them to others. So for example, Mike's just equipped the toilet paper cannon that comes from the Monsters University playset and given that to Mr. Incredible. He's also riding right now on the Incredibles hoverboard, which is something that's unlocked from the Incredibles playset. But it doesn't just stop there. There's a ton of other different virtual toys that any character can equip. Here's another great example, Buzz Lightyear's jetpack.
Oh, classic.
Now for the first time ever, Mr. Incredible can actually put on Buzz's jetpack and fly around like a toy box.
I'd rather see Sully with that backpack.
Oh yeah.
But we've got Mr. Incredible here. Like you're mixing and matching from all different realms of Disney properties. The way that a toy box ends up when the kid throws all the toys in there, it just ends up jumbled up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we always talk about that. Think of the toy box like your parents' living room floor. We can just dump all of those toys out and play with them however you want to. And if you want to put Buzz Lightyear's jetpack on Mr. Incredible, cool. If you want to give a paintball gun to Mr. Incredible and create a paintball game, cool. Even Midway Mania, the Toy Story ride from Disney Parks, we actually put that little bazooka toy inside of there, which you can use for projectile attacks. So
nice.
It's really up to your imagination what you do. And there's hundreds of thousands of combinations per character.
And of course, you're also building this world around you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll show that next. Using the Fairy Godmother's wand, which is one of the items that every character has inside the toy box, we can actually select and highlight any piece inside of the world. Now when we do that, we bring up a very simple interface that allows us to delete an object or move it. So really quickly, Mike can just hit a button and start deleting the various objects within his world. If he wants to, he can hit the A button and actually move it. So when he does that, it's going to bring up the entire toy menu. He can then rotate it using the left analog stick and the right analog stick for his camera. So he can rotate the piece, he can bring it far down if he wanted to create like an underground secret lair with lava, or he could raise it really high up in the air if he wanted to create his own sky castle.
Oh man.
So there are pieces, such as some of those building pieces, that do not respect physics, and we do also have physics toys that respect gravity and also roll and speed and whatnot. So lots and lots that you can do with that particular wand. Now another thing that you can do, I'll just show you real quickly here, is you can actually use the wand and look at the ground and change the texture of the ground itself. So if you want to actually go and modify specific areas of your toy box to be themed to different Disney worlds, you can do that.
Okay. If you want to make a big checkerboard of Disney.
Yes, if you want to have like an area that's all themed to Tron, you can do that. If you want to have an area that's themed to Wreck-It Ralph, you can do that as well.
And then just bring any sort of structural item from any property that you've unlocked and just plug it right in there.
Exactly.
And then
so
play
like we saw
whatever
with
game
cars.
you want.
Yeah. So if you wanted to, you could put the entire world of Pirates of the Caribbean, lay down road, and then have a race through Tortuga with the Cars characters. So it's really up to your imagination.
This is basically like you guys are, taking inspiration for the next Disney theme park from here. You're like seeing what people can design and come up with.
That's something that's fun. Is the Imagineers themselves actually go in here and they actually work on creating like, oh, I wonder what we could do with this ride, or I wonder how we could tweak this. And I've seen guys even go through there and try to create their own versions of Disneyland. So it's really fun.
Very cool, John. All right, that's the toy box here in Disney Infinity. Anything else you wanted to mention before we wrap up?
I do want to mention the Power Discs because they're super cool.
Okay.
And I do want to talk about the Logic Toys. So
all right.
We'll go to the Logic Toys in a second.
Let's take a look.
Power Discs. So Power Discs are sold in blind packs, $4.99, 2 to a pack. 2 different types. Hexagonal ones, which will modify your world and bring you virtual toys that you can play with, and then circular ones that will modify your character as well. So for example, this particular circular one will modify my character to give him Sparky's health from Frankenweenie. So I simply just pick up my character, put the coin or the Power Disc on underneath, and now in game, Mr. Incredible has 20% more health. So if you're stuck in a playset and you're having difficulty getting past a certain mission, you can go out and pick out a Power Disc pack And if you've got the right one, you can then add that onto Mr. Incredible.
Can help you out there.
Or if you're the type of person that, for example, wants to have a little bit more economy in game, you can do that by adding the Pirates Booty Disc, which gives you an economy boost. So there's 60 power discs total. They're going to be released over 3 waves.
Okay.
That's how the circular ones work. Let's talk about the hexagonal ones. So,
which you have really a lot of here from Aladdin. I'm seeing Finding Nemo. I can't even identify that one right away.
That
like
would
Tron.
be Tron, Chris. So one thing that's kind of fun that you can do is you can actually place some of these down that will modify the texture sets of your entire toy box and the sky. So if I place this one down from Wreck-It Ralph, it'll actually theme my entire toy box to become Sugar Rush from Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, wow.
So even objects like the trees, for example, are replaced now with lollipop trees. And I can then put down the Sky Dome, which will change the entire sky to also be themed. Now I have a full-on Sugar Rush from Wreck-It Ralph toy box. Even the roads are replaced with the rainbow roads from the film. And it doesn't just stop there. If I wanted to, I could change it and make the entire world customized to Tron. So I can switch the ground and I can switch the sky, and now all of a sudden my toy box has been completely transformed into the grid.
Oh my goodness. This is a lot. There's a lot going on in the toy box, but there's also, like, this is not all of it. There's just one more thing here besides, the ability to just like run in here while your little sister has made her, Wreck-It Ralph world and Tronify the whole thing to terrify her. You can actually go into these places and like create games of your own.
So let's show you how that works. That's our Logic toys. So Infinity features a huge selection of what we call Logic toys. These are virtual toys that you can actually link functionality to. So it's kind of teaching kids, basically low-level rudimentary programming, if you will.
Yeah.
So for example, we have this trigger
game
plate.
design. Yeah.
Well, game design. That's actually the coolest thing. I mean, if we can help inspire people to become game designers and content creators themselves, then we've done a good job. We've won. So with that Fairy Godmother's one, if Mike pulls that out again, you can highlight here one of these individual pads. Now what you'll notice is it actually has this logic function. So when he selects that, it brings up options that this particular pressure plate can do. It can be stepped on or stepped off of. So we'll choose to step it on, and then we'll link it to another Infinity toy. This is a party cannon, and here's the functions that the party cannon has: fireworks, confetti, or grand finale. So we'll choose the grand finale, and now we've successfully linked these two toys together. Now when we step on that, it sets off fireworks. Now here's the thing, you can link a ton of these Logic toys together. So if you wanted to create your own fireworks show, you can do that. If you want to create your own games, you can do that too. We'll show you here a quick example of a game that you can create. Are you a fan of soccer?
Yes, actually.
So we actually have soccer goals in here, ESPN themed as it stands right now, and you can place those soccer goals down, and then we can place a soccer ball down, and this is an example of one of the physics objects that actually behaves according to the world itself. And then we can take a scoreboard toy and place that down as well. And so that scoreboard toy will actually allow us to be able to keep score and even define how many points we want to play.
Does it then link to the
Soccer goals
and sense when the ball goes in
Exactly,
there?
we totally got it. So same thing, we use the wand, we select the soccer goal, it says here's my properties I can be scored upon. I select the scoreboard toy here, and when I pull that up it says, okay, when it's scored, we want increment player 1, yes. We go over here, we select this particular goal, and it says I can be scored on, link it over then to the scoreboard toy again, and now we'll make it so it increases player 2's score.
Okay.
And in fact, if Mike highlights and selects it one more time, there's actually properties with the scoreboard where you can then change it to make it, do you want to play to 3, to 5, to 10, to 15, 21, it's really up to you. So now when the ball goes through the goal, it's going to score. And so what's so much fun is that there's so many different virtual toys that you can play with all over the toy box. Like, for example, we have pinball bumpers. So if you wanted to, you could put down pinball bumpers inside of your stadium and play pinball soccer. If you wanted to play 2, 3, 4 ball soccer, you can do that. We even have other virtual toys that allow us to do things like when you step on the pressure plate, it'll modify the angle of the camera for all players. So we can look bird's eye view, or we can do 2D. So I've already seen recreation of Super Mario Bros. 1-1. Right, I've seen a recreation of that
the
naturally.
First thing that must be recreated in any
Right.
creative endeavor.
I've seen Super Off-Road, so top-down that racer, except it was Mr. Incredible and Barbie's Corvette against Mrs. Incredible in the sports car. So many different things you can do. We even have boom boxes, so when a goal is scored, we can trigger a sound effect or we can trigger a song.
Oh, John, my mind is reeling right now. I'm seeing you guys really have like this could almost be like a whole standalone thing. But just to clarify, Toy Box comes with base Infinity.
Yeah,
the whole
it's part of the starter
functionality is
pack.
in
Yeah,
there, and it's part of the starter pack. It's a pretty incredible creative tool from what you've described, and it seems pretty easy to use as well.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing is that I've used other games that allow you to build, and a lot of times they're really complicated. With Infinity, we've been working really hard to make sure that anyone can get in there and build a game.
All right, John. Well, this, folks, has been Disney Infinity, an extensive look at it here at GDC from John. Thanks so much for showing it off and just taking us through all the different stuff you guys are doing. I mean, when you think about Disney properties, the mind reels at how much you guys can bring in here. But it seems like you're really trying to make a game that's not just, hey, look, play these toys and that's it. It's a game that's fun to play in its own right, and that this creative tool is surprising and wonderful.
Yeah,
so,
awesome.
Very
Thanks,
cool.
man.
All right.
Appreciate your time.
Disney Infinity, folks. There you
See
have
you
it.
again. Bye.